Hey everyone, welcome back. So far we have learnt about Django's built-in signals. We used post-save to automatically create a profile. We used pre-save to modify data before it reaches the database. We also looked at post-delete for cleanup tasks. But here's an interesting question. What if Django doesn't provide the event you are looking for? For example, a payment was successful, a report was generated, a user completed onboarding, an invoice was approved. None of these are built into Django. So are we stuck? Not at all. Django also allows us to create our own custom signals. In this section, we will learn how custom signals work. And then we will finish with something that's arguably even more important, when you should avoid using signals altogether. So let's dive in. Before we create a custom signal, let's go back to our doorbell analog from part 1. Imagine your house comes with a built-in doorbell. Whenever someone presses it, everyone inside knows that someone has arrived. That's similar to Django's built-in signals. But imagine you also installed a smart security system. Whenever motion is detected, it sends a notification. That notification wasn't built into the house, you added it yourself. That's exactly what a custom signal is. You are defining your own event. So built-in signals are like, so when user saved is an event, when it ran, post save signal will run and receivers will receive it. But custom signals are what we create. We will create a payment successful and payment successful signal will run and receivers will receive it. So let's dive into the code. Here, instead of doing everything here, we will create our own custom signals file. So we are separating our custom signals from Django's building ones. This keeps the project organized. First, we are going to import signal from django.dispatch. So let's understand this line now. So we are creating a new signal object. Nothing magical happened here yet. We are only creating an event. Think of it as creating a new notification channel. Right now, nobody is listening to it. Nobody is sending it. And it simply exists here. So first we have to register that. So first in the signals.py, I'm gonna import it. Now let's create a receiver. Unlike post save, this signal doesn't automatically receive a instance or a created. Why? Because we created this signal, we decide what information gets sent. Notice our function has amount and user passed inside it. Those values will come from whoever sends the signal. Now imagine the payment was successful. This is where you use payment successful.send. In the place where the payment actually succeeds, such as a view, payment callback, server function, or webhook handler. So for example, let me call that inside my view. Here, this line triggers the signal. Think of it as ringing the bell. The moment Django executes payment.successful.send off, every listener listening will execute automatically. For testing, I will add this directly to the URL.py. So after adding this one, I need a HTML template. So let me create this one here inside the accounts. So inside the template, I will just call the amount directly. I'm not going to do stylings and everything. So here, if I run this server and if let me refresh it and let me go for the site, since I've added it as the first one, 100 is coming. See, as soon as that is called, this view is called, the payment successful.send is called. Now I'm receiving the print statement calling payment received from the admin, that is the logged in user. I was logged in as admin here, and 100 is what I am passed it here for an example only. So how this works is, as soon as the payment is completed, the payment underscore successful dot send is called, and that is sends a signal. Afterwards, the receiver will receive this signal and it will print the message for us, or if in case we want to send a email, update the wallet or generate an invoice, everything will be run through this receiver. So this is where custom signals become powerful. Suppose you are building an e-commerce website. Customer completes a payment. Instead of writing everything in a view like payment, create the invoice, update the wallet, send email, notify admin, create audit log and reward points, all these things in one view, you can simply do it like, as soon as the payment is successful, send a signal. The signal is received by invoice receiver, email receiver, wallet receiver, reward receiver and analytics receivers. So each features becomes independent. Your code becomes much easier. Your code becomes much cleaner. But now comes the most important lesson of this entire video. Should we use signals for everything? Absolutely not. Many developers discover signals, then suddenly everything becomes signal. Login, signal. Logout, signal. Payment, signal. Order, signal. Tax, discount, everything is signal. Soon nobody understands what the application is doing, because important business logic is happening silently in the background. So it's like this view and everything is going through signals only, another signal, and nobody knows what happened. So what are signals good for? Signals are excellent for logging, notifications, emails, analytics, cache clearing, search index updating, profile creation and cleanup. Notice something, these are all side effects, meaning they happen because something else happened. Never put your application's main business logic inside signals. For example, don't do like, if a user pays, signal will run, it shouldn't update the bank balance, create the invoice, ship product, reduce inventory, notification, notify warehouse. Why? Because these are critical operations. Imagine another developer reading your payment view, they will only see payment is processed. They won't realize 5 other things happening automatically. That's dangerous. So you should remember one rule. So business logic should always keep as explicitly, side effects should be kept in the signals. If your application cannot function with that code, don't hide it inside the signals. If it simply react to an event, signals are a good choice. So the difference between signal and function is, function are direct. Function is like you call it, it runs immediately. But signals are event driven. Signals will run only if something happens, some event happens, it will react to a receiver. Some of the common mistakes beginner can do is forgetting the apps.py. So as soon as you create a signals.py, you should register that in apps.py. Next is, in case of creating a profile, creating some view which is one-to-one or something, you should always be careful to write this if created. Otherwise, multiple profiles get created. Next is calling. You should never call instead dot save, because inside the post save, this triggers post save again, which calls the save again, and infinite recursions will happen. Like, what means? So once you save something, the signal will run again, it will call the save function and again signal will run. It's like infinite loop will be keep on happening. So always be careful when saving inside signal. And mistake number 4 is doing heavy work inside the signals, like resizing the image, generating PDF, uploading files, AI processing, video encoding. Don't do this. Instead, queue background jobs using Celery or another task queue. Signals should finish quickly. So some of the best practices are, you should always keep the signals short. You should have only one responsibility. You should use the descriptive name, like here I used uppercase bio and profile delete, because profile deleted, because These things will do according to what the name is suggesting. If you keep this as home or delete, it doesn't make sense, and you will only get confused in the next session if this is a lengthy code. And you should always register signals in the ready, that is this one, and avoid recursion save. That is what I told about instance.save of. And you should test the signals and use logging instead of print in production. Keep business logic outside signals. So let's quickly recap everything we have learned. A signal is simply a notification. Django announces that something happened, receiver listens for that event and react automatically. We explored post save, pre-save, post delete. We created our own custom signal. We learned how to register receiver. We understood sender instance and created. Most importantly, we learned that signals are excellent for side effects, but should not replace clear business logic. Once you understand that distinction, you will know exactly when signals make your code cleaner and when they make it harder to maintain. So congratulations, you have just learned one of Django's most powerful and most misunderstood features. If you have been writing duplicate codes across multiple views, APIs or management command, I hope this video showed you how Signal can help you write cleaner and more maintainable application. At the same time, remember that just because signals are powerful doesn't mean they should be used everywhere. Choosing the right place for them is what separates a beginner from an experienced Django developer. If you found this tutorial helpful, consider giving it a like and sharing it with other Django developers who are learning the framework. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you would like me to cover next, let me know in the comment below. I read every single one. And if you don't want to miss upcoming Django tutorials, project walkthroughs, and development tips, make sure to subscribe to Code with Amruth and turn on notification. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coding.